Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of FPL Affairs, the podcast that takes us on a 9-month-long love affair with FPL, including the ins and outs that keep us awake at night. In this video, this week has seen the drop of a brand new chip, lots of excitement, but lots of confusion. So, our resident two idiots at FPL Affairs have come up with this Idiot's Guide to the Assistant Manager chip. Let's get cracking.
And there's Mo Salah. There goes Haaland. He's on his way again. He's hungry. He scored. Ice cold precision from Palmer. Oh, Saka! That is a diamond of a goal.
Hello, welcome to FPL Affairs, the Idiot's Guide to the Assistant Manager chip. And we are the idiots. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm good, mate. You?
Not too bad. Researched and prepared, and as I said, this is the Idiot's Guide. So you need to button it. That's why I put more. That's why I put more information, tiny bit, on the slides so that you talk less.
I'm an idiot, so I'll be listening. So let's get stuck in.
Yeah, let's get cracking again. So, drawing the curtain on an Idiot's Guide to the Assistant Manager chip, the brand new one. What is it? Where is it? Why do we use it? But most importantly, I think, when do we use it?
Definitely.
So, in simple terms, have you ever wished you could have a Premier League manager as part of your FPL squad? To maybe be a whisper in your ear and hopefully prompt you and poke you on when to use your gut. Yeah, that won't quite work. But this chip does enable you to bring a real Premiership manager of your choice out of the 20 of them. Must be current ones, though, I'm afraid. So no investing in Eric Ten Hag. And your points for the wins they get, the draws, any goals that scored, and what clean sheets there are for their teams. So, Jack, do you want to explain the initial how it works?
Yeah. So you must choose a manager to score points for 3 consecutive game weeks. E.g., if you activate the chip in game week 24, the chip runs from game weeks 24, 25, and 26. Obviously, if you were to pick either Slot or Moyes, they would have a double game week in 24, which would count as 1 game week. A couple of suggested managers for the current period are obviously Slot and Moyes. And then if you wanted Moyes for the double, you could then make a transfer to Iraola for the 25 and 26 who have Southampton and Wolves. There is also a possible double game week in 25 for either Fulham or Spurs if you wanted to get another fixture, if that does go ahead. If Spurs do manage to keep their lead against Liverpool in the Cup, then it's quite likely. If it isn't, then it probably won't happen anyway. But yeah, you need to try and get as many fixtures as you can on this chip, in my opinion. So that might be a good move as well.
Yeah. So the first manager you choose doesn't cost you a transfer. So it's like an extra bonus to your normal weekly free transfer. And as Jack was saying about, you could use Moyes for the double and then move off him. So you can transfer between managers during this 3-week period, but it does cost you your free transfer. So just the same way as players do.
Yeah, so you similar to how your transfers work, they also count within your 3-player per club quota. For example, if you currently have Salah and Trent and wanted to get Slot, that would be your three Liverpool players. You couldn't then transfer in a Gakpo or a Diaz or a Van Dijk or anybody else. So they basically count as a player in the 3-player per club quota.
So how much does it cost? Well, sadly, you do have to pay for your manager. Each manager has a set price that doesn't change. So whereas players, due to popularity, they can either go up in price or down, the managers, their price does not change. And there are 4 price brackets with 5 managers in each pricing. So there's 5 managers priced at 0.5 million, 5 managers at 0.8 million, 5 managers at 1.1 million, and 5 at 1.5, which we'll look at in a moment. Now you have to pay from your existing budget. Unfortunately, you don't get given, here you go, have an extra little bit for a manager. You've got to find the funds by transferring players if you don't have money in the bank already. But the plus side is you do get the money back once the chip has been completed. Those 3 weeks, it will magically, fingers crossed, reappear in your balance. So upcoming the manager prices. Do you want to read these, Jack?
Yeah. The top bracket for prices, like Matt said, obviously these are ordered from expensive to cheap. You have Arteta, Maresca, Slot, Guardiola, and Howe at 1.5 million. Iraola, Herschela, Marco Silva, Nuno Espirito Santo, and Postecoglou at 1.1 million. And then you go on to the more budget prices at 0.8 and 0.5 million. These are probably where I'm going to target. You have Unai Emery, Thomas Frank, Oliver Glasner, Amorim, and Vitor Pereira at 0.8 million, and David Moyes, Kieran McKenna, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Mighty Ivan Juric, and Graham Potter at 0.5 million.
Now, the big thing, which this actually bizarrely took me the longest to get my head around, strangely enough,
Yeah.
was that the managers, how they score points is different to players. So if your manager's team wins, they get 6 points. If your manager's team draws, they get 3 points. They get 1 point per goal scored by their team and 2 points for a clean sheet if their team keeps a clean sheet. Now, that's simple enough, but there is also thrown in, spanner in the works, table bonus. So table bonus points are basically if your manager's team faces a team that is ranked 5+ places above them in the league table. And if your manager faces one of those fixtures, if they win, they get an extra 10 points. So that will be 16 points in total if they win. If they draw against that high ranked team, they get an extra 5 points. So that's the standard 3 points with a 5 on top. So that would be 8 points total for a draw.
It would also be 17 points in total because they'd have to score a goal in order to win a game.
So yeah, say for example, in the Merseyside derby, you back Moyes and Everton beat Liverpool 1-0, then anyone who's got Moyes as assistant manager would get 6 points for the win, plus the team bonus, table bonus of an extra 10. So you'd get 16 points for that. As they would have won, they would have scored at least 1 goal. So that would be 17. If it was a 1-0 win, for example, they then get 2 points on top of that.
For the clean sheet.
To 19. So potentially, with table bonus included, a 1-0 win could bag your manager 19 points for you. So, in summary, Do you want to read the summary before we go on to strategies?
Yeah, can do. So, like we said, the chip is active for 3 consecutive weeks. You can swap between managers. Managers do fall into the 3 player per club rule. So we've obviously gone through the manager's cost at 0.5 million to 1.5 million, the 4 price brackets there. Managers earn points for the different things, which we did, and a couple of other things. No other chip can be played at the same time. So if you wanted to use your triple captain this week, for example, you couldn't do that and play the assistant manager chip. And the other point to make is that if a manager were to be sacked, it wouldn't have any impact on your chip, as it's basically the team that you're choosing as opposed to the actual manager. So not to worry, Tottenham fans, if Ange was to get the chip, if he was to get the chop, it wouldn't count. It wouldn't matter. You would still obviously have Spurs.
Chip chop.
Chip chop.
Okay, so fingers crossed and toes crossed, that makes a little bit more sense if you haven't watched many videos so far. What we're going to go into now, there's different strategies of playing it with the different prices as well as the table bonus points. And we've got 3 strategies which we're going to look at in particular, which may give you some things to think of and any sort of particular suggested period you might want to play it. So strategy A is kind of like your safe bet, your safety net, where you back a top club manager, so one of those premium assets, when they have 3 fixtures against lower ranked teams. So to do that, take a look at the fixture ticker, look for a period of time where they've got 3 good fixtures, hopefully 2 of them at home. And the best fixtures so far, suggestion, is Liverpool, game weeks 30 to 32. So if you were to play your assistant manager chip in that period on slot, you'd get Everton at home, Fulham away, and West Ham at home. Alternatively, you could play on Maresca and Chelsea, game week 26 through to 28, where they've got Aston Villa away, Southampton at home, and Leicester at home. Any comments on that first strategy, Jack? Is that safe bet?
It's all about your appetite for risk, isn't it? And then if you look later on in the season, sort of from 34, 35, 36 or what have you, if you're in a good space and you want to protect your rank and you don't particularly need to take big punts, this might be a nice one just to use on those top teams at the end of the season, bolster your points and keep yourself in a safe rank. Or again, if right now you're happy with where you're at, maybe just do it on slot, do it on Arsenal, pick one of those premium guys with nice fixtures. Brentford have got some nice fixtures coming up after 25 as well. And just sort of breathe easy rather than take the big risk on the table bonus.
So, second strategy, talk us through that one.
This is something I'm a little bit more interested in. The high risk, high reward one. Pick a manager, lower down the league, identifying winnable fixtures against side ranked 5+ places above them, targeting the table bonus points. Possible sequences would be Spurs, which I think a lot of people have had in mind with this chip, waiting for them to sort of bounce out of their slump. With game week 27 to 29, City, Bournemouth and Fulham, all 3 I believe are 5 places above them. I think Fulham are. And Everton between 31 and 33, who are playing Arsenal, Forest and City, who obviously are all 5 places above them. So again, you're looking at a big punt on a nice run of results for the 2 lesser teams there, that you could be walking away with 17, 18 points, maybe even 19 if they were to win all those 3 games to 0, although I doubt it. But then all of a sudden you're looking at a good sort of like 20 odd points a game. There's 60 points up for grabs there on if it all goes really well, as opposed to obviously looking at like the slot points in the games before. sort of winning to 0, 6 points, clean sheet, 8 points. Maybe they win those games 2-0, 10 points. You're looking at 30 points. So this is for your riskier manager. And also, again, previous point, if you're looking to chase rank, if you get to the end, and obviously game week 31 to 33 for Everton, for example, and you're not happy with where you're at and you want that big green arrow over that 3-week period, this might be a bit more your sort of strategy.
Yeah, I think just briefly commenting, comparing strategy A with strategy B and using the immediate slot versus David Moyes this week. Going briefly back to the scoring, if Liverpool beat Everton 1-0, then Slot's got his 6 for a win, goals scored 7, clean sheet 9 points for a 1-0 win. And we said Moyes was 19.
Yeah, huge.
And lots of, if my memory serves me correctly from speaking with Liverpool fans, is that there's been quite a few low-scoring draws between Liverpool and Everton. Lots of nil-nil.
Huge nil-nils. Yeah, so, lots of nil-nils.
For example, a 0-0, Slot would get 3 points for a draw, 2 points for a clean sheet. So Slot would get 5 points. Moyes would get 3 for the draw, an additional 5 points table bonus for the draw, so that's 8, and a clean sheet 10. So a goalless draw back in Moyes would get you 10 points, and a win for Slot would get, unless it was high scoring, would actually get you less points. Which is where I think it really throws in the utilising the table bonus.
But if Liverpool win 3-0 and you back Moyes, you get nothing. So that's fun.
True.
So that's the risk that you take.
Yeah.
But they do have Leicester as the other fixture. So there's a chance of a 1 or 2-0 win there. Both games are at home. Yeah. So again, we'll get into that probably in the next video because I'm talking about it as one of my plans for this week. So tune into that if you want to listen to me ramble on about him.
Yep. And third strategy is really focusing around the double game weeks, which is, I think, what a lot of people do. And I'm certainly looking at this, taking into account strategy B. But the double game weeks, targeting the 3-week period to include a double game week, and you therefore get your manager gets 4 fixtures as opposed to 3. Doubles at the moment, Slot and Moyes confirmed for double game week 24, which everybody knows by now. The next double game week confirmed pretty much is double game week 33, which will have in the teams that blank in game week 29, which will be any fixtures including the Carabao Cup finalists. So, for example, the betting odds are that it's going to be Newcastle and Liverpool that go through. That would mean Newcastle's fixture against Palace in 29 will be a blank and moved to 33. And the other fixture, I think, is Liverpool, Aston Villa. So Liverpool and Villa will blank in 29, and that fixture would get moved to 33. So you'd have a small double. Which teams that affects will be confirmed in a week's time when the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-finals take place. So we should know the outcomes of that very soon, before the deadline, game week 25. In fact, we'll know. The third double game week is game week 36, which in that will be all the teams that blank game week 34. So the teams blank in game week 34, I think, are the ones that are involved in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, or is it the quarter-final?
FA Cup. No, it's the semi-finals.
Yeah. So worst case scenario, you've got 4 semi-finalists are all in separate fixtures and aren't playing each other. Then 4 out of the 10 fixtures would be moved from game week 34 into 36.
Yeah, it's likely to be the biggest double out of all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Game week 36, based on, like you said, if the teams that make it aren't playing each other, then obviously 8 teams potentially might double.
Linking that back to the assistant manager chip really is if you don't want to go for game week 24 for whatever reason, either it's no, I want to see how things pan out, or you've got your triple captain to play, then double game week 33, you could play your manager chip game weeks 31, 32 and 33, which I think Glasgow and Crystal Palace are okay, have got some nice fixtures for that. Alternatively, if you want to include the double in 36 because it's a bigger double, then you could use the chip game weeks 35, 36, 37 or 36, 37, 38.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say about this slide is that for those people that aren't sure about using it currently early, if you were to leave it late for the 36 double, 37, 38 or 35, 36 and 37, what you would have is you would have teams lower down the league, such as an Ipswich or a Leicester or a Wolves, trying to fight for safety, and they might be playing teams that are sort of on the beach. So if there's a Fulham, for example, in 11th that can't get Europe, or if there's a Brighton in 9th that can't get into Europe, and Ipswich are fighting for their lives, then it might be obviously wise to put it on an Ipswich because they're essentially playing for something against somebody playing for nothing. Alternatively, like I said in a couple of slides ago, if you are happy with your rank, there might still be a title race on at that point. So it might be wise just to go with the big heads, just to secure your rank and keep it where it's at. But one thing that's definite is that as of game week 24 till game week 38, ranks are going to be all over the place. There will be 3-week blocks where this will be most popular. They're on screen pretty much. And almost the dust won't settle because people will play it in 36, 37 and 38. People will play it in 35, 36 and 37. So you almost won't know really where you're at almost. You'll know roughly, but you won't know like close until literally the last game week of the season. Yeah. Because there are some big points to be had. I'd probably put this as the highest scoring chip. I'm not sure you could really argue with that. Yeah. So therefore, rank disparity is going to be all over the place. So maybe try not to read too much into that over the coming weeks.
Yeah. So I've got where to find us, the normal info about whether you found this useful, whether it's been helpful. We'll discuss.
Any questions?
Sorry, I interrupted you, or the other way around.
No, definitely the other way around. I do it all the time, and I'm sorry. I just thought if anybody has any questions, if there's anything we've not covered, then just pop them in the comments.
Yeah,
and we'll sort of try our best to answer them because it's a difficult chip and it's quite complicated if you don't know what it is. I only found out all most of this doing this slide.
Ways to get in touch: FPL Affairs at x.com. Same thing on Facebook group, which does say on their Fantasy Premier League FPL 1, although the name, whether the link has changed, I need to double check that actually, I keep meaning to. But the actual, if you search the groups FPL Affairs, then it should come up. YouTube channel at FPL Affairs, and please like and subscribe because it really helps our channel out. And the Spotify waffle as well, which is almost as much waffle as I do. And Jack, I think you were probably thinking I was going to say you then for a minute, didn't you?
No, yeah, but to be honest, I waffle more than you do, so fair play. Thanks for not taking shots. Thank you for watching. Hope this helped.
Yeah, really do hope it helps. Let us know if it has been, if it's been like, yeah, I've heard it other places or not. Final thought before I do the final usual line, Jack, is thoughts on which managers to target, really, or which clubs to target based on, if I quickly go back to the prices, actually.
Well, I think it all very much depends on who you are as a manager. I think it depends on where you're at rank wise. I think it's quite a personal decision.
Yeah.
I think if you tune into our next video, which is our review and preview of the current game weeks, then you can listen to me waffle on about my plans. But I think it all literally depends on your appetite for risk, B, where you are rank wise, C, if you're if you're chasing a mini league and you want you've got a money league on and you want to take a big punt on a David Moyes this week, try and get up the ranks and get that table bonus, then do it. If you're sitting top and sitting pretty and you just want to get the chip out the way, then go for an honest slot if you don't have triple Liverpool, or maybe just go for one of the other big heads like an Arsenal or a Chelsea. I think it also very much depends on how many other chips you've got left. If you've still got triple captain, would you rather use that this week on Salah?
Yeah.
Or would you rather save that for another double, which I think we're going to talk about in the next video with regards to your team. And also bench boost, free hit, and wildcard. Where do they fit into this? Because obviously you can't use two chips at the same time. So if you want to know what I'm doing, we'll discuss it in the next video, because there's a chance I'll be putting it on David Moyes this week. Not definite, but there's a chance. Other than that, I would just, like we always say on this pod, plan when you're going to use your chips. We've obviously gone through the likely blanks and doubles depending on the cup competition, so you can start to look at that and figure out when you might want to use your free hit, when you want to use your bench boost, your triple captain, and sort of wild card. I always say wild card into a bench boost for anybody that hasn't played much. And yeah, just come up with when you've got 3 weeks where you're just going to be happy just to play it, and there's no risk of you wanting to play a triple captain or any of your other chips. So yeah, it's very personal, I think. But if you want to hear reasons for and against David Moyes in 24, flick onto our next video, because I'll be talking about it in my game week preview.
Okay. Hope that made sense, everybody. Just about. And tune into our next video, which will be reviewing game week 23, how we did, as well as previewing game week 24, in which, as Jack said, he's considering using his assistant manager chip. I'm considering the assistant manager chip and my triple captain, spoiler alert. So tune into that. Anyway,
thanks for watching.
And keep your FPL affairs under wraps until the deadline. Goodbye.